After making the playoffs, the Spurs head west in search of a miracle.
The Golden State Warriors have everything to lose here. The Spurs are coming into this thing with no pressure.
While Governor Greg Abbott says the deployment of Texas National Guard troops is necessary to deal with the dramatic escalation of immigrants, drugs, and MS-13 gang members crossing the southern border, not everyone in the area agrees.
Putting boots on the ground, if we need more agents, then we should just simply hire more agents and have more Border Patrol agents as opposed to being a militarized zone.
Online retailer MexiTrend ignites an Instagram and Twitter firestorm with white girls wear Mexican hashtags to sell imported Mexican goods. And a new podcast discussing San Antonio's military history and future debuts this month from Express News senior reporter Sig Christensen.
This has always been a place where the military was welcomed and supported. The military and San Antonio kind of are one. There's not much separation between the two.
I'm Chance Dorland with your Express briefing for Friday, April 13th. Subscribe to this and other free content at expressnews.com/podcasts. And get each day's top news and sports headlines delivered to your inbox at expressnews.com/newsletters. On the court, the differences between the Spurs and the second-seeded Golden State squad they face in Game 1 of their playoff series on Saturday at Oracle Arena are as wide as the San Francisco Bay, with the Warriors in pursuit of their third NBA championship in 4 seasons against the team they tore through in last season's Western Conference Finals. However, San Antonio Express News Spurs beat reporter Jabari Young says there is reason for the Warriors to proceed with caution against the number 7 seeded Spurs, as the Warriors have lost 10 of their past 17 games and are still without all-star guard Steph Curry due to a knee injury. I spoke with Jabari Young for a special playoffs preview episode of our podcast, The Spurs Insider, available for free at expressnews.com/podcasts.
This is all on the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are the defending champions. The Golden State Warriors have home court advantage. The Golden State Warriors come with a firepower in Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson, even Draymond Green, who's an all-star, Andre Iguodala, Sean Livingston, that bench, Nick Young, who can light up and hit threes. The Golden State Warriors have everything to lose here. The Spurs are coming into this thing with no pressure. They're obviously not favored in this series. People are not supposed to. They're not supposed to win. They're not even supposed to win a game. Some people probably thinking they're going to get swept. So if you come in that way, it's almost like when the Spurs played the Sacramento Kings. So I think that's how the Spurs got to play it. They got to play it the exact same way how the Kings played them. Free, not thinking too much, just going out and playing basketball.
During a visit with troops and U.S. Border Patrol agents in the Rio Grande Valley, this week, Governor Greg Abbott said cross-border activity poses a serious threat to communities across Texas and the United States, noting an increase of more than 200 MS-13 gang members coming across the border. But Rio Grande City Mayor Joel Villarreal says he questions sending Texas National Guard soldiers to take shifts at the border.
I am in favor of sensible border security. However, having said that, I do not believe that the border should be militarized because it's not necessary. It's unwarranted.
Last week, President Donald Trump called for a force of as many as 4,000 troops in 4 states to deploy to the southern border as a, quote, virtual and personnel wall until his wall is built. Governor Greg Abbott says as of Thursday, 762 Texas National Guard had arrived on the border, and their ranks would continue to grow by 300 guardsmen per week until the force reaches around 1,400 troops. Utah-based online retailer MexiTrend has ignited a firestorm on social media with a marketing strategy that uses white models with hashtags like "White Girls Wear Mexican" to sell imported Mexican goods. Some shoppers accuse the owners of cultural appropriation and have called for a boycott of the company's merchandise. The name of the company itself, MexiTrend, has elicited a passionate response for what some say reduces an entire culture to a passing fashion trend. A number of posts have been deleted and captions have been edited, but screen grabs captured some of the original content that spurred the discussion. Esmeralda de los Santos, a marketing professor at the University of the Incarnate Word, describes the social media strategy as patronizing and condescending. And later this month, San Antonio Express News senior reporter Sig Christensen, who was embedded with the 3rd Infantry Division during the U.S.-led invasion of Iraq in 2003, will begin Military City, a new podcast covering the history, future, and current stories surrounding San Antonio and the military. I spoke with Christensen about the new audio project for today's episode of the In-Depth Podcast, available online at expressnews.com/podcasts.
In my mind, it's a great way to communicate. It's a good way to bring in people who are interested in simply listening if they're on their way to work, if they're curious about what the latest story was discussing. We can get into that, and I also can bring some sense of context to it since I've lived it for a long time now, not just as the military writer, which I've done for 21 years, but I've been a journalist now for almost 35, not just military reporting. I've covered a lot of politics. I've covered prisons, and I have a lot of fun with this because there's some truth in the line that I have when I go out and make speeches, which is there's one similarity between politicians and convicts. They'll always tell you a story that's really sympathetic to them. The difference is one is trying to get in and the other's trying to get out.
Military City debuts Thursday, April 26th at expressnews.com. And that's your daily San Antonio Express News briefing for Friday, April 13th. Subscribe to this and other free content at expressnews.com/podcasts. I'm Chance Dorland.